You're standing in a muddy street in 12th century London, the air thick with the stench of smoke and decay. Your head throbs, a relentless ache that's kept you awake for nights on end. Willow bark tea has failed you. Prayers at the local shrine have brought no relief. And now, desperate, you push open the creaking door of a physician's chamber. Inside, the walls are lined with jars of murky liquids, cryptic charts, and tools that look more suited to a torturer than a healer. The physician, a man of grave demeanor, trained at the great University of Bologna, sizes you up with a glance. He checks your pulse, peers into your eyes, and declares your blood is too hot and wet. His solution? A hole drilled through your skull to release the pressure. Oh, and first, he'll taste your urine to confirm his diagnosis. You freeze, heart pounding, wondering if you've stumbled into a nightmare. But this is no dream. This is medieval medicine, a world where healing and horror were two sides of the same coin. For nearly 1,000 years, from the collapse of Rome to the cusp of the Renaissance, European medicine was a strange alchemy of brilliance, brutality, and blind faith. These physicians weren't quacks peddling false hope. They were scholars, steeped in ancient texts from Greece, Rome, and Islamic thinkers, convinced they held the secrets to life itself. Yet their foundational beliefs were so catastrophically wrong that their cures often killed faster than the diseases they treated. This wasn't a fringe practice. It was the cornerstone of care, sought by peasants and kings alike, endorsed by the church, and taught in the grandest universities. To understand this bizarre world, we must start with the idea that shaped it all: the theory of the four humors. Imagine your body as a delicate balance of four vital fluids: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. When these humors flowed in harmony, you thrived physically, mentally, even spiritually. But tip the scales, and chaos followed: fever, madness, or death. This wasn't just a medical theory. It was a lens through which medieval people saw the world. Blood, hot and wet, made you sanguine, cheerful, but reckless. Phlegm, cold and wet, marked you as phlegmatic, calm but sluggish. Yellow bile, hot and dry, produced choleric souls, ambitious but angry. Black bile, cold and dry, birthed melancholics, artistic but prone to despair. A physician might look at a lovesick patient and diagnose an overheated blood, or see a brooding poet and blame an excess of black bile. The cure was always the same: rebalance the humors, no matter the cost. Bloodletting drained excess blood, purging flushed out bile, vomiting expelled phlegm. These weren't gentle remedies. They were invasions, leaving patients weaker, sometimes fatally so. Yet questioning this theory was akin to heresy. It descended from giants like Hippocrates and Galen, their texts treated as gospel. To challenge the humors was to defy the very order of the universe. Medical schools in Salerno and Paris drilled these ideas into students, who pored over charts linking humors to seasons, planets, even foods. A damp winter might spike your phlegm, demanding a diet of hot spices. Too much red meat could inflame your blood, calling for a purge. Physicians consulted astrological calendars, ensuring the stars aligned with their treatments. This wasn't quackery. It was precision science, as rigorous as a monk's devotion. Plagues, like the Black Death, were blamed on humoral imbalances triggered by bad air or divine wrath. Treatments, from bleeding to purging, often hastened death, yet the theory's elegance held firm. It explained everything: why you fell ill, why you fell in love, why the stars seemed to dictate your fate. For patients, it was a map through a terrifying world, but one that led to a landscape of pain and peril. As the physician eyes your throbbing head, he sets aside his charts and reaches for a blade. Your journey into medieval medicine is about to get bloodier. The physician sharpens a fleam, a wickedly sharp knife, muttering about the waxing moon's influence on your humors. Bloodletting, he explains, is your salvation, a way to drain the excess blood overheating your body. This wasn't a rare procedure, it was the universal cure, prescribed for headaches, broken bones, even heartbreak. Bloodletting wasn't just about removing blood, it was about restoring cosmic order. The physician might slice a vein, catching the crimson flow in a bowl etched with measurements, or opt for cupping, heating glass cups to suck blood to the surface before nicking the skin. If he's feeling precise, he'll reach for his leeches, those blood-hungry creatures bred in murky ponds and treated like prized tools. Leeches were the unsung heroes of medieval medicine. Kept in jars, fed carefully to keep their appetites sharp, they'd latch onto your skin, their bites painless thanks to a natural anesthetic. They'd gorge until swollen, supposedly drawing out bad blood with pinpoint accuracy. Some physicians named their leeches, treating them like trusted assistants. Patients wore the resulting scars as proof of proper care, a badge of survival in a world where healing was a gamble. Bloodletting's reach was staggering. It was prescribed for fevers, fractures, even pregnancy complications. Children, the elderly, the already bleeding, all faced the blade. Medical records describe patients bled until they fainted, a sign the treatment was working. Take King Charles II, struck by a stroke in 1685. His physicians drained pints of blood, applied dozens of leeches, and induced purges, all while debating his humoral balance. He died within days, likely hastened by their efforts. Yet this wasn't malpractice. It was protocol, taught in every medical school from Oxford to Montpellier. The logic was relentless. If blood was life's essence, too much could flood the body like a river breaching its banks. Bleeding restored equilibrium, or so they thought. Physicians calculated doses with pseudoscientific precision, factoring in age, weight, even the moon's phase. A waxing moon demanded more blood, a waning one less. This was a dance of knives and stars, performed with grave sincerity. The consequences were grim. Bloodletting weakened patients, lowered immunity, and invited infection. Rusty tools and unwashed hands turned cuts into septic wounds. Yet failure only reinforced the practice. Those who died were deemed too far gone, their humors too corrupted. Survivors credited the blade, not their own resilience. This cycle of confirmation bias kept bloodletting alive for centuries, a ritual as sacred as prayer. As the physician wipes his phlegm, he glances at you, unconvinced the bleeding has done enough. His next suggestion makes your stomach churn, a hole in your skull. The physician sets aside his blade and produces a trepan, a circular saw with jagged teeth that glint in the candlelight. Your headache, he declares, stems from pressure inside your skull, evil spirits or bad humors trapped within. Trepanation, the act of drilling a hole through your skull, was no fringe experiment. It was a respected procedure across Europe, used for epilepsy, melancholy, even head injuries. The logic was chillingly simple. If something was trapped in your head, a hole would set it free. Surgeons approached trepanation like craftsmen, shaving your head, marking the spot, temples for headaches, crown for madness, and twisting the trepan through skin, muscle, and bone. The process could take hours, with you awake, feeling every scrape and crunch. Anesthesia was a fantasy. At best you might get a swig of wine or a stick to bite. Archaeological evidence tells a haunting story. Medieval skulls bear trepaned holes, some healed, proving survival. Others show multiple holes, suggesting repeated procedures. Manuscripts offer clinical instructions, with diagrams for where to drill based on symptoms. Headaches called for one spot, demonic possession another. Some patients sought trepanation preventatively, believing it warded off future ills. Wealthy nobles, even children, endured it, their skulls turned into macabre canvases of medical zeal. The audacity is staggering. Surgeons saw trepanation as routine, akin to lancing a boil. They boasted of their precision, yet the risks were catastrophic. A slip could pierce the brain. A dirty tool could seed infection. Yet some survived, their healed skulls a testament to human endurance and medical hubris. The procedure's persistence is rooted in that same humoral logic. If the skull was a prison for bad humors, drilling was liberation. Failure was blamed on the patient's condition, not the method. Success, however rare, cemented its legitimacy. As the physician prepares his trepan, you catch a glimpse of another tool on his table, a glass flask called a matula. He mentions uroscopy, and your unease deepens. The physician holds up the matula, swirling your urine sample in the candlelight. He studies its color, sniffs it then, to your horror, takes a sip. Uroscopy, or urine tasting, was no quirk. It was the pinnacle of diagnostic art, practiced by the most respected physicians. Urine was a window to the soul, its hue, smell, and taste, revealing humoral imbalances. Clear urine signaled excess phlegm. Red suggested too much blood. Sweet urine hinted at diabetes, bitter at liver issues, salty at kidney stones. This wasn't seen as grotesque. It was cutting edge, a skill honed over years at universities like Paris and Bologna. Physicians used elaborate rituals, consulting charts mapping 20 urine shades to diseases. They'd heat samples, mix them with wine, or study sediment, claiming they could predict death itself. Some built careers on uroscopy, charging fortunes to analyze samples sent from across Europe, often without meeting the patient. Medical schools devoted courses to it, treating urine like a sacred text. Yet, it was utterly useless. Urine's properties vary with diet, hydration, even time of day, offering no reliable clues. Treatments based on uroscopy, more bleeding, purging, bizarre diets, were often harmful, prescribed with a confidence born of ignorance. The physician sets down the matula, satisfied with his diagnosis, but his next words turn your blood cold. He's prescribing a pilgrimage to a saint's shrine. When medicine failed, as it often did, physicians turned to the divine. This wasn't simple prayer. It was a system of supernatural healing woven into medical practice. Each saint had a specialty: Saint Apollonia for toothaches, Saint Lucy for eyes, Saint Vitus for epilepsy. Physicians prescribed pilgrimages to shrines, writing itineraries as formal as any modern prescription. Patients fasted, confessed, and touched sacred relics, bones, clothing, or objects tied to saints, hoping for miracles. Wealthy nobles hoarded relics like supernatural pharmacies, while monasteries competed for the most potent ones, advertising their healing powers to draw pilgrims. But the strangest remedies came from apothecaries stocked with ingredients that defy belief. Ground mummies imported from Egypt were prized for their life force, prescribed for bruises to impotence. Unicorn horn, often narwhal tusk, was sold as a poison antidote. Human excrement, fresh or aged, treated skin ailments or dysentery. Live animals were medicine too. Bats for epilepsy, spiders for stomach woes. Most chillingly, body parts from executed criminals, blood, skulls, were harvested fresh, their potency unmatched. These weren't fringe remedies. They were mainstream, prescribed by learned physicians, sold by licensed apothecaries. The logic, twisted by humoral theory, saw the body as a battleground where only extreme measures could restore balance. As we step back, the horror isn't just the practices but the sincerity behind them. These physicians weren't monsters. They were scholars, working within a flawed paradigm. Their failures remind us how fragile knowledge is, how easily certainty can lead astray. Bloodletting lingered into the 19th century, trepanation into the 20th. Even now, we must ask, what truths do we hold sacred that future generations will shudder at? This history is a mirror, reflecting our own quest to conquer the unknown, one painful step at a time. If this journey into the dark heart of medieval medicine has left you as fascinated and horrified as it has me, hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. What's the strangest historical practice you've come across?